but it's poor insurance because it's too expensive, and it's a poor investment because it's a poor return, right? So regardless of whether you got it, it's poor insurance and it's poor investment. Buying term, better insurance, putting the money in mutual funds, obviously superior investment. So thank you, Sheila. I know you're very, very busy. This weekend you have a lot going on, clients and other stuff. So we appreciate you getting on and preparing. I'm going to transition to Ismaldo and Luce, and we're going to stay on this topic of cash value. They were telling me that they had it's crazy because they've been in the business for such a short amount of time. It wasn't what we call an agent confrontation, but when they came over to do the presentation with their client, who happens to be a pastor, I don't want to take the whole story, but I'll just kind of preface it with what I already heard. Their pastor said, "Oh, well, actually, my friend is here, and she has been selling life insurance to our church, and she's pretty well versed in this, and I want her to sit into your presentation." Now, to me, that's very awkward. In all my years, that has never happened to me. I don't even know what I would do. I don't know if I'm, anyways, they, took the challenge head on, and I want them to tell you what was said, what questions they asked that agent to kind of put her on her heels, and then some of the feedback that they got. So just a couple minutes, guys, on telling that story from last night. If you can unmute yourselves. I know they're at work, so I'm hoping that they can actually hear.
Yeah. Hey, Samir, how are you? So I'm at work, so hopefully nobody call in because I'm by myself right now. Yeah. So it was very.
Turn your camera on. Turn your camera on.
I'm at work. Okay. I'm pink. So we went to the pastor, and when the pastor told me that her friend has been trying to sell her a policy. She's been trying to set up a meeting with her also, to sell a policy to her. And she was thinking that it was a good idea that we both together there. That way we can kind of offer what we have, and then she picked what's best. And I wanted to tell the pastor, "Hey, no, she's the enemy." Like I wanted, but I was feeling awkward. I was like, she's the enemy. She don't need to be here. But I wanted to be nice, and I started asking her first, like, "Hey, what kind of life policy do you sell?" And then she told me she sells whole life, and she also told me she sells universal life, and in some cases she sells burial. It's like a burial insurance, and also in some instance term. And I was like, "What do you lead with people?" And she told me whole life and universal. I was like, "Why?" And she started telling me all the benefit and stuff. I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect." And then I started my presentation. When she saw the company I represent, I was like, "Have you seen this company before?" She's like, "Yes, I used to." They took me to a meeting, but I didn't like the way they were paying, because this company is paying me 70% at the get-go. I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect." And I didn't say much, right? And I started doing the presentation. And when we came to the part, the investment, I was telling the pastor, "Hey, like, how many people do you think need to know that if you put $200 for 35 years, you might be able to get 1.3 million?" And she's like, "Oh, everybody." And from there, I moved to because I using the Spanish presentation, so I was using the decreasing the part where it said that you die too soon. I don't remember the name of that. When you say you die too soon.
Theory of decreasing responsibility.
Okay, yeah. In that part, I was telling the pastor, "Hey, so what Primerica do, and I do with my hand, we unbundle and we do like insurance in one side, and we set a plan for investment. That way, when your policy ends, you have enough asset to replace your insurance." And then from there, I was going to, because I wanted to get so bad to explaining the type of policy, right? So I was doing the bank A, bank E, bank A, bank B. So I was asking the question to pastor, like, "Hey, which bank do you prefer?" And then she picked back A. I was like, okay, some policies, they work like whole life policies, they work like this. So you're thinking that you're putting money in there, but if you want to get the money out, you have to loan it. So if something happens to you, then they take that money that you took as a loan and they deduct it from the life benefit. How would you feel if someone offered this to you? She's like, oh, I will feel like, like they robbed me. Like, yeah, like there's a lot of people selling those type of policy. And then I went to the universal life scenario and I show her, but then I look some examples that I have from some clients that we collect in the past, and I show her everything. I break it down to her. And then I ask, like, like, then I asked her, like, hey, you see the difference? Because we try to live with the truth. So our company, it paid us less, but at least I can sleep at night. So I will not like to offer something to someone that I know in the future it might not go well to them. And then I asked the lady to say, um, is it true that the type of policy you have, they cannot take the cash value? But if you die, the company keeps the cash value. And then she was like, yeah, it works like that. Um, and you had to pay interest too. I was like, okay. Because remember, she was like a church lady. So then I asked her for the universal life. I was like, why you offer that? And then she was trying to tell me about the benefit. And I was telling her, like, but the policy is going to last and you're paying like 5 to 10 times more. And at the end of the day, the client is not making is making no like substantial money. So is it better for you just to put it in the bank than just buy a term policy and just put the money in the bank? At the end, you want to get more. Why you don't lead with that? And she's like, and then she's trying to tell me all of these extra, but I was trying to be nice. Luz was like, yeah, we don't sell that to people. I was like, look, we are church, remember, like, just calm down. So, but I was able to explain the pastor, and the pastor was like, I really thank you for that because, you always have to lead with the truth. Like you have to do the best for people, and I like that. And I told the lady, it's like, hey, because like I say, I was making her feel like, hey, like we'll like whatever we're doing here, God is seeing us. So we try to do the correct every time. And then I guess because we show her that perspective in that moment, I think she come to realization that what she was doing, it was not good for people. And I offer her like, we have a spot available for you. We're looking for people that want to make a difference, that they want to do the right thing every time. And that's what we like from America. And then we get her our card. So if she ever join our business, to me that would be like my best recruit ever, just because of the situation. Because I was nervous myself because she was there. I didn't know she was supposed to see our presentation, but I was able to do it, and we'll want to talk in a different time with the pastor because I didn't want to offer like quotes and everything in front of her. But it was very interesting, night last night.
Good job, man. That is awesome. For someone with as little experience in terms of time, experience can be defined in two things. It can be time in the business, and then it can be actual experience. So in terms of actual experience, you have accumulated a lot because you guys go on a ton of appointments between you, your sister, your wife. You guys are very, very active, but time in the business, it hasn't been that much. So I think that this is a good, window that people can look into in terms of the competence level that you can reach very quickly. Do you know how long the other lady had been licensed for?
She says she's been licensed for 4 years, like
Okay,
4 or 5 years.
so you're up against an agent that's been licensed for 4 years. You guys have been licensed for just a few months, but it's not about presentation skills or anything. It's just the truth. It's really difficult for people to overcome the truth, and you're good now at presenting the truth. So thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. You guys are top producers. That's why we're hearing from you, and we look forward to hearing from you next week as well. Thanks so much, and thanks for giving us your time at work. So,
One thing, Samir.
mhm.
Um, One thing, Samir. So when there was a training, I saw that if someone ever have a confrontation with an agent, I saw this training that I think it was very good to use, and I wanted to do that to her, but then the pastor wasn't a client, so I didn't need to do that. So it's like when you have a confrontation with an agent, they're person to person. So they said like you said to the agent, say, hey, I want to make sure that tonight that we're doing the best thing for our client. So I want to record this conversation. That way we know, like, if for future reference, we know we're doing the best for our client. So you start recording the phone, you put it on the table. And then you ask, it's true that if the customer die, the life insurance take the investments, the savings. And then at that moment, because they're recording, they don't know what to say. So they're trying to say all of these things. It's like, it's just a yes or no question. Is that true or not? And just because there's a device that's recording, they're gonna be able, they have to think twice how can they say their things. And I think that was very impactful for me, because like I was like, I wanted to use that, but I couldn't just because she wasn't a client. But I really like that part, that you put a device recording and then you start stating the truth, and then they have to say the truth.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're in that situation, you're going to have to probably take measures like that. So I think that's great advice. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.